The great outdoors, or 5 minutes from Georgetown's Rec Center. But it really is beautiful out here, and I think it's a fitting backdrop for our discussion about international trade regulations. So I'm here to talk about the Long Beach Clean Trucks Program, an initiative that started on October 1st, 2008, and just passed its 10-year deadline on October 1st of this year. And to understand the motives behind it, I think it's important to look at the context of the way that international trade was in 2008. And so the ICCT put out a study in 2008 describing the current levels of carbon emissions caused by shipping trucks. Now, during the time the study was conducted, 22% of all transportation emissions were caused by shipping trucks, which is pretty significant because there's a lot more trucks on the road than there are cars. Say this is a truck. I know it's a monster truck, but we can assume it's a shipping truck because those are basically the same thing, right? Say I take this truck, and we've also got peas. Now I know this is confusing, but bear with me because this will totally make sense. So let's imagine that one pea is, let's give it an arbitrary number, like 1 million tons of CO2 gas in the atmosphere. 2 billion pounds of CO2, all trapped within this one pea. That's 2 billion pounds of CO2 gas on the back of that truck right now. And let me go ahead and show you how much CO2, ew, this is dripping. Let me go ahead and show you how much CO2 is put out in the atmosphere by shipping trucks in 2008. I'm not gonna let you try to count them. I already did that myself. I don't know why. I could have totally lied about the number. But that's 363 million metric tons of gas. So the next logical question obviously is, so we discovered a need for it. The port implemented it. It happened. It's over. Was it all worth it? Let's go back inside and look at the numbers.
Hey, so we're back in my room. Let's talk a little bit about the real costs and benefits of this program now that it's just wrapped up. So I got the numbers in front of me right now. And one of the big things that they pointed out was the number of clean air compliant trucks over the course of the 10-year span of this program. Now, when this program was implemented, there were only 3,902 registered compliant trucks. Compliant, by the way, is 2007 or newer. Now that we're in 2018, this number has gone up to 18,088. So that's great for the environment because that means a lot more trucks that are using more fuel efficient resources. But it also means that it's gonna cost a lot of money because shipping trucks are not cheap. Usually, because we're mostly working with the cabs of trucks. A new cab for an 18-wheeler typically will run you around $100,000. And so to think that there's 14,000 new cabs registered with the port within the past 10 years means that shipping companies are spending a lot of money. So this program better be worth it in terms of both environmental protection and reduced costs in the long run. Let's run the numbers. I've got here California's 2018-2019 state budget. So within the section for the California EPA, I took a look at the Air Resources Board. And this budget told us that we're looking at $1.386 billion put forth in the Air Resources Board budget. Obviously, not all this money is going directly towards the fighting of carbon emissions, and these aren't exactly proportional. If you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there's probably some correlation between how much is spent on the Air Resources Board and the air quality at the time. So what has this program actually done for carbon emissions? Over the course of this program, carbon emissions caused by trucks in the port has decreased by 90%. That's 90. So what this does mean is that there's going to be a significant drop in the active need to be fighting carbon emissions, which we know is a very expensive program. For California. California has a history of bad air quality. So all in all, how do I feel about this Clean Trucks program? Was it a smashing success? Yeah, I think so. But granted, I value environmental protection a lot. But also when you look at the finances and the numbers, it's hard to say that $1.5 billion, which is roughly how much you're spending to put out 14,000 new 18-wheeler cabs, which is a pretty generous estimate that all of them are 18-wheelers in the first place. But when you look at how much money is currently going towards air pollution, being able to spend as much as they've spent and reduce carbon emissions by 90% is, I think, pretty good value for money, especially in a place like Long Beach and LA, where people value air quality and the weather and the sunshine so greatly.